Hi, my name is Katie Harkness, and this is my OT Pediatric Toolkit. The first item is a ball. The ball can be used for catching, throwing, kicking, passing, and a lot of gross motor activities. One of the activities that we did focused on the cognition of the child to have to come up with an item in a category, like a movie title, and then switch from the right hand to the left hand, to then pass it to his neighbor or the OT student, and had to understand the sequence and pattern and organize his behavior around that. And then the visual perception of being able to throw it and know where it is in space. This activity is the bean pit, where you put beans into a basket and place different items into it. This has a lot of tactile discrimination, where you have to feel the difference between the items that you're asking the child to find. So in this I have a metal car and plastic rubber duckies, and I ask him to find certain items for me. It also has to do with visual closure, where the child has to be able to still determine what the object is, even if it's partially covered. The child also can use fine motor skills to pick up the items, as well as pick up the tiny beans to help with cleanup, because they do make a mess. This is just another way to use it for sensory. They like to put it, you can put them in their socks and throw them all over their feet so they can play in it, and it just makes a play-based type of activity that the child really enjoys. And it's an alerting activity for children with sensory processing disorders or sensory modulation disorders. The next item are bean bags. Bean bags can be used to toss the bags, and you can make a game, and you can have the child sit on a sensory swing in the position that you need. So if they have low trunk tone, have them lay prone and toss the bags with their use of both upper extremities. If you place a bucket at different distances away from the child, they'll have to attend to those items and separate from the other environments, as well as discriminate where the figure ground is where is in the foreground, where is in the background, how can I get it into the bucket. And then you can different textures of the bean bags to toss it, and help with crossing the midline by tossing diagonally or switching bean bags between hands for bilateral integration. The next item are beads in an ice cube tray. This is good for cognitive skills because it helps with selecting each bean and sequencing it. So if I say, well, you put all the reds in the number 1 slot, and then organizing activity, so you're sorting and organizing colors. It's also a fine motor activity where the child has used different grasp patterns to place it in there. You could do bilateral integration across the midline if you added string and had them string the beads. The next activity is the monster glove. The glove is just made out of yarn sewed together with googly eyes, and a glove that has a lot of tactile ness to it. So you could have the child touch fingers together with each monster to judge appropriate colors. You could use it for sensory, from just the feeling of the glove, motor praxis to determine which finger I should touch first, and then counting skills as well. The next one is the paper bag puppet. If the child is age appropriate, you can do cutting activities with them and coloring. So fine motor with the coloring, cutting, crossing the midline, bilateral integration. And it's just a fun activity that you can do imaginative play with, and the child can enjoy it and have a product to take home. There's the visual perceptual piece, as the child has to be able to differentiate between the different objects and use them appropriately and place them appropriately on the bag. The next one is the game of operations. This one is more fine motor, where you use the tweezers to pick up the different bones. You can take out the batteries so it doesn't have that alarming sounds that it makes if you hit the metal sides. You can also help with organizing the activities to say, I want you to put the wishbone in first, then the Charlie horse, and so on. And it also is emotional regulation to control and respond appropriately to verbal cues. The next item I have are stickers. Stickers can be great reinforcement for behaviors. So if a child did something right or well, you give them a sticker so they have something, an award for doing the activity properly. It's also good for fine motor because they can peel the stickers off themselves. It's good for organizing. If I say, put all the smiley faces together and all the winking together, it's the visual perception where they have to find what they're looking for and scan and track what they need and what sticker I'm looking for them to pick out. The next item is a timer. The timer is really good because it gives a visual indication of how much time there is. So when you tell the child, okay, you have 5 minutes to do free play, and then we need to sit down and do whatever activity you need them to do, you can say, okay, when this goes white, that means time's up. And it helps with that transition and prepares the child for the transition to other activities. So it's a sensory perceptual skills for timing and planning. The next one is our bubbles. Bubbles are great because they're inexpensive, they're easy to take with you. You can use them for fine motor skills because you can have the child poke at the different bubbles, and it's bilateral integration because you're using arms, upper extremities, lower extremities, and crossing the midline. You need visual perception because you need to determine where the bubble is in the foreground and the background, and focus on that item within that environment and ignore the other items. Crayons is my next item. This also goes with the paper bag puppet with coloring. You can, so fine motor skills to color items and grasping patterns. And it's also can use for cognitive skills because you can select the color that you need. You can sort the crayons by colors. And you can have just created different activities that are novel and fun and enjoyable in our artwork using imagination and creativity. The last one is a radio and a CD player. For kids with sensory processing disorder, things that are alerting and calming can help you in your tasks. So if you have a fast-paced music that can alert the child, or slow-paced music that can calm the child, it's a good warm-up or cool down. Also, if the child loves music, it's a good motivator, as well as you can do dancing with it, which involves gross motor full body movements with bilateral integration, crossing the midline depending on the dance, and it is just fun and it doesn't feel like work while you're working on so much. So thank you very much. The end.